I want to share something that I encountered back in 2021. However, I really addressed it over the summertime. Back in 2021, I was a recipient of EBT. I had normally been able to purchase the kombucha drinks. I love those. Those are probiotic drinks. They're good for your gut. However, at some point, I was not allowed to purchase this drink with EBT benefits. And it got to the point where the line had got held up because I was trying to figure out why am I getting charged for this? All I got was food items. And after some research with the clerk, she did explain to me that those drinks were not purchasable with EBT. And at the time, I was doing synergy drinks. At some point, I stopped receiving the EBT benefits until here more recently, where I was able to get hold to an EBT card and I went to purchase the kombucha drinks. And Food Lion was again charging for these drinks. However, Lidl, Aldi's, Harris Teeter, they had no issue with you being able to purchase these drinks EBT. So what I did was I made the managers aware at Food Line that this is a product that should be able to be purchased with SNAP benefits. Of course, the managers said that they were going to look into it to see why. However, there was no resolve. Then at that point, I reached out to the corporate office in Salisbury. Once I reached out to the corporate office in Salisbury, the corporate office said that they were going to do an investigation to see how they could resolve the issue. I did receive an email back, and the email pretty much said that that drink contained alcohol, so they considered that an alcoholic beverage and it can't be purchased with SNAP benefits. That's not true. Even though it contains alcohol, it only contains a small amount, not enough to be considered an alcoholic beverage. Once I realized they were challenging that issue that could not be purchased with SNAP benefits, I reached out to USDA, their SNAP benefits department, and I also reached out to the Attorney General of North Carolina, Jeff Jackson, Consumer Division, to make them aware, hey, this particular company that I know of since 2021 have been charging people that get SNAP benefits actual money for this kombucha drink, which is discriminatory. They were discriminating against low income families. So here more recently, I went back to purchase after I had made my complaints. And at some point, I realized they removed all of that particular, not Synergy. The one that I love the most is, I think it's ADK. The guava, oh my gosh, it's so good. They removed it from the shelf. And then when they restocked it, I was able to buy it, and it's purchasable with SNAP benefits. So thank you, Food Lion. Thank you, Attorney General. Thank you, USDA. I appreciate you listening to the consumers who have been cheated for years. I appreciate the correction. And just for clarity, you will see the documents. So you know that I'm doing my due diligence to the community, because if you want to see the change, you have to be the change. You gotta use this. Gotta use these choppers. Can't just use it to be running your mouth and ain't nothing really coming out. You just talking the talk. You ain't walking the walk. You ain't putting the footwork in. You ain't writing nothing down. You ain't calling no office. You gotta do the work. Especially you politicians that say you working for the people. We still waiting. But in the meanwhile, I'm doing my part. Making sure that the consumers aren't continuously being railroaded by these big corporations. Speak out and speak up.